Hello, this is Ken Barron at the National Association of Black and White Men Together. And the topic today is genetics and intelligence. Genetic researchers were seeking children for an ambitious, federally funded project to track brain development, a study that they told families could yield invaluable discoveries about the DNA's impact on behavior and disease. They also promised that children's sensitive data will be closely guarded in the decade long study, which got underway in 2015. But the scientists did not keep it safe. A group of fringe researchers thwarted safeguards at the National Institutes of Health and gained access to data from thousands of children. The researchers have used it to produce at least 16 papers purporting that biological evidence for differences in intelligence between races, ranking ethnicity by IQ scores, and suggesting black people earn less because they are not very smart. Mainstream geneticists have rejected their work as biased and unscientific. Yet, by relying on genetic and other personal data from the prominent project known as Adolescence Brain Cognitive Development Study, ABCD, the researchers gave their theories some credence. Members of the research group were eligible to obtain data from that project, but one of them gained access through an American professor who was already being investigated by the NIH over his handling of other trial brain studies. Their papers have provided fodder for racist posts on social media and white nationalistic messages boards that have been viewed millions of times. Some of the papers are cited by AI bots like ChatGPT and Grok in response to queries about race and intelligence. On the social media platform X, Grok has referred users to the research more than 2 dozen times this month alone. The science is faulty, but it's being used to advance an unethical agenda. The misuse of the children's data has validated long-standing concerns that hundreds and thousands of American genetic information held by the NIH could fall into the wrong hands. Critics say the NIH has failed to address the risks that the data, even with personally identified details removed, could be misused in unethical research for commercial purposes or by foreign adversaries. In dozens of cases, the NIH suspended researchers' access and demanded that compromised data be destroyed, but the agency relies heavily on good faith pledges of compliance. The misuse of the data for race science is not the only example of security failings involving the ABCD study. There has been no official public accounting on how the NIH lost control of the children's genetic information. When Elon Musk invited X users last June to post politically incorrect, divisive facts on the social network, a so called researcher replied with a criticism of affirmative action and said white people had bigger brains than black people. Not the case. The conservative commentator Dinesh D'Souza said on X in 2023 that studies showing black people, who are the rock solid base of the Democratic Party, have the lowest IQ of any ethnic group. As evidence, he reposted another chart based on the ABCD data about American 10-year-olds. Scientists say the unauthorized use of the data underscore the need for stronger controls. There needs to be an acknowledgement that there are bad faith researchers.
It's 11 o'clock.
But the Government Accountability Office, a federal watchdog, reported last April that the NIH did not have the resources to properly monitor all the downloads of genetic data. The project has generated hundreds of papers, amongst other things, the effects of social media on mental health, genetic links to addiction, and the cause of sleep disorders. In 2023, a researcher tried to rank the intelligence of children across ethnic groups, but the sample size was for the vast majority of groups was far too small to draw meaningful conclusions. This runs counter to the scientific consensus that any correlation between a complex trait like intelligence and genes, let alone social constructs like race, is not the same as a causation. Researchers found that the environment in which people are raised can affect their cognitive abilities. In the US, for example, any serious analysis must consider how Black people endured centuries of slavery and racial discrimination and how they today face disproportionately high poverty rates and a lack of quality education and health care. A Substack article last April asserted that Black people's supposed lack of intelligence was the source of the racial income gap. While some scientists have pushed the NIH to limit how sensitive genetic data can be used in research, there is little indication the administration agrees, and there are signs it is moving in the opposite direction. This is Ken Barron at the National Association of Black and White Men. I publish information on homophobia and racism and trying to get rid of that ultimately. You can go to our main website, nabwmt.org. We're on Facebook and Instagram. If you would like us and comment and contribute, we'd like to hear from you. We're also having a convention in Las Vegas next August, and you can find all about that on that website. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.